So the weather is warming up, spring is in full swing, and the drunken weekend warriors are coming out in droves to partake in daily acts of debauchery in the tipsy world we all know as beer festivals. Yeah, I went to one. So anyways, about a couple of months ago, I decided to go on a little beer festival trip with my friends that I used to work with in a group, and it was such an enlightening experience. I really wanted to talk about it and to give you guys some tips if you're ever thinking about going to a beer festival, the shit show that it is. I'm going to share with you some of my experiences that will help you kind of navigate or what to expect from your first beer festival, or if you've been to beer festivals all over the place. These are just my experiences, so if you learn something from it, great. If you don't, then awesome. So without further ado, I bring to you Mr. Tasty's top 20 tips to surviving your first beer festival. Let's get started. Boom!
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you.
So right off the bat, before I even say number one, buy tickets early. Just get your tickets ahead of time, right when they come out. A lot of these events, a lot of beer festivals tend to sell out pretty quickly depending on where they are and who they're sponsoring. I actually tried to go to one like a couple weekends ago and they sold out before I can buy tickets. That's partially my fault. So that's not even in the top 20, that's just my advice, just get tickets early. So number one, Uber in, Uber out, or Lyft in, Lyft out. You don't want to drive. It's just not something you want to do if you're thinking about going to a beer festival. It's just spend the money on the Uber to go in. We actually drove about a half an hour to the festival. Ours was in downtown Sacramento, and it was a pretty large gathering of people. A few hundred thousand, but I don't know, about 5,000 people. So there was a lot of people there. So it's just a good idea to leave your car at home. Don't make anybody drive unless they want to drive. I think a lot of beer festivals sell DD tickets for really, really cheap. You get into the festival, you can't drink anything, but you're obviously the designated driver. But why would you go to a beer festival and not drink beer? Exactly. So number one, Uber in, Uber out, don't drive. So number two, eat a snack ahead of time. Don't stuff yourself. I'm not saying you have to eat a huge breakfast before you start drinking beer, but it's probably a good idea to eat something that'll soak up a lot of the alcohol. Eat a snack ahead of time. Have something in your stomach before you start drinking some beer. It's probably a good idea because consuming alcohol on an empty stomach in a general sense is just, you're asking for it. So eat a snack ahead of time. Number three, get there early. A lot of these festivals, sometimes they start at like late morning to early afternoon, right between like 10 and 1. I know some festivals are at night, but I'm talking about just the majority of them. If you get there early, you don't have to, scream at your Uber driver to hurry the hell up. You're in a position where you can just get in line, get your ticket, or if you haven't had it printed out already, and just hang out with your friends until the gates open. So it's just less stress on you if you just get to these events early. So number four, have a game plan of some variety. You don't want to show up and not know what to do. Believe me when I say, as soon as the gates open, everybody just kind of scrambles and you don't have any coherent directions as to where you're going. A lot of the times the breweries, before they even have these festivals, they'll send you, maps that you can download or get that'll tell you, the layout of where the breweries are at, what breweries are there, the vendors, the music, the first aid tents, so on and so forth. So make use of the map and have a game plan. What happened to me is I wanted to go to a particular brewery and the beer sold out because I'm a slacker. I didn't get there in time. So you don't have to have an itinerary, just know where you want to go before you get there and you'll pretty much visit all the places you want to visit. Okay, so number five, bring a backpack of some sort of variety. Something to just carry things. I'm not talking about a huge purse, just some sort of a backpack. I brought my camera backpack with me because I wanted to bring my camera so I can take some videos and photos, and it turned out really well. You're probably gonna have to check it in the gate and then open it up and make sure it's not something dangerous. This is a good idea. I don't mean to, you have to hump around a backpack all day, but it is a good idea. Most of these festivals, these beer festivals, you're gonna get stickers, you're gonna get pamphlets, and if you're not a cheap ass, you're gonna buy some merch. It's always a good idea to have a place where you can put stuff in. So I didn't even know it's there, and I had a great time. So bring a backpack. So next is pace yourself. Number six. This is one of the obvious ones, but for good reason, because shit can go south at these festivals pretty quickly, and you see that a lot. If you go to one, you don't want to start slamming beers one right after the other like a frat house. You just don't want to do that. You want to pace yourself. Basically, I mean, if you know your limits at the bar or going out to dinner or wherever you drink, if your limits there applies here. Just because you're day drinking and you're drinking beer doesn't mean you don't have limits. So please understand how much you can drink and pace yourself. So number 7, my opinion on this one is bring something to write on. I saw this a lot. I took a video of this couple here, and it was interesting because I tended to ask a lot of people while filming, what kind of brews do you like? What kind of brews? And they didn't really know a lot of brews that were there. So my advice is just bring a pad of paper and a pencil or something to write on. Or you actually have beer journals that you can buy if you're that serious about it. I tried to make some notes on my phone and it didn't turn out too well. Very simple. If you like beer and you go to a festival and you want to get some information about breweries, about a beer that you tried that you liked, believe me when I say that if you're gonna keep doing this type of thing, you're gonna run into a situation where you drink something and you're not gonna know where it is, where the brewery is, what it, you know, and just info about the brewery. So just write some notes down. I like this beer, this brewery, this tastes like this way, and then move on to the next. Number 8, and another duh one, obviously, is to drink water. I don't think you see this emphasized enough on websites claiming to give you tips on breweries or beer festivals like I am. Drink water. Probably one of the most important ones, probably number 1 in my opinion. And believe me, you don't want to get white girl wasted and be the only one puking your guts out in the handicapped porta potty, okay? Believe me, I know. I've seen it. And number 9, bathrooms. Know where they are. Just simple. You don't want to break your seal and not be able to find the bathrooms. Know where the bathrooms are. So number 10, if you go with your friends like I did, have a meeting place of if something goes wrong, you know, have like we're gonna meet here at 12 or 2. Have some sort of like plan to meet up, because normally if you go with a big group of friends, you kind of break off into different sections. And that's just the way things are. Okay, so number 11 is another opinion of mine. You don't have to drink every beer there is. The festival that I went to, there were about 150 to 160 breweries, and most of them will give you a little cup like this, little glass, 6 ounces or a half pour 3 ounces. So do the math, that's a lot of beer. You're definitely getting your money's worth if you pay a ticket. You're gonna drink all the beer you can handle. But you don't have to drink every beer there is. Everybody kind of tries to. You have that one friend that's like, oh, I'm gonna drink every single beer there is. You know, go for it, homie. You know, pass out halfway through the festival and see where that gets you. But you will, I guarantee you will get turned with the quickness if you try to do that. Most of these festivals try to regulate how much people drink. If you see someone acting the fool, they'll usually just kick you out. So number 12 is don't be a snob. I see this a lot. Don't be a beer snob. Mainly because I say that because I kind of am one a little bit. So I try to regulate what I say to people. You like what you like. The other guy might not like what you like, and that's perfectly acceptable. You don't want to back someone into the corner because they don't adhere to your Piney the Elder propaganda or how many cans of Revision you sold in the black market. Nobody cares. You like what you like, they like what they like. If you wish to form your own beer cult after the festival, do so in your free time. So number 13, ask questions. If you're new to the kind of whole beer scene, like really, really big beers, not like popular beers, but like craft beers, microbrews, that kind of stuff. If you're really into it, ask questions. There's a lot of people there that probably make their own beer at home. I know a few people that do that, and they're pretty serious about the whole process of beer making and the science behind it. A lot of people go to school to make beer. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So if you don't know something and you want to know something, just ask around. People at beer festivals are usually pretty friendly. They're not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to teach you anything. So if you're curious and you want to get into a little bit more, just ask questions. People that are really friendly. So number 14 is just be friendly. Asking questions is kind of the same thing as being friendly, but being friendly in such a way that you don't want to be a jerk and like bump into people and you know, and spill your beer. It's just, you see that a lot. Sometimes you go to beer festivals and you just, there's always that really, really drunk person that kind of ruins it for everybody. But just be friendly to people and you'll get that back. Just, that's a kind of common sense kind of thing. Number 15, and I see this a lot. A lot of people tend to bring their own pretzel necklace, and that's cool. That's, if you want to go ahead and do that, do that. It's just, it's your way of cleansing your palate or whatever like that. I don't do that. Because I haven't really got an opportunity to do that. But my advice here is it's okay to take a break and eat something. Usually these beer festivals are gonna have food trucks. The food and food trucks are really good in my opinion. I had a sandwich, so it's perfectly acceptable to just take a break from drinking beer all day and to eat something. So number 16, dress in layers. It's kind of a no-brainer. If it's kind of before spring, during the end of winter, sometimes festivals will get kind of crisp. So dress in layers. If you have a backpack, you can always take off your sweater and put it in there. So my advice is to dress in layers and just be prepared for a change of weather. So that's good. Number 17 is ask for a half pour. It's perfectly acceptable to go up to a vendor or a brewer, and just say, I want X half pour. So you don't have to necessarily fill this up every single time you go and ask for a beer. Ask for a half pours. I prefer half pours anyways. You get more variety in the same amount of volume. So if you know your limits and you kind of want to spread things out more, just ask for half pours, 3 ounces. It's more than enough. I mean, if you like it, if you like the beer, just go out and buy it. But usually 3 ounces is enough for me to actually try a beer. So yeah. So number 18, is it okay to throw away your beer? Yes, it is. You see it a lot on forums. If you're into that, go online and say, is it okay, polite to throw away beer? Yes, it is. However, there are some guidelines or manners to go by. If you try a beer and you just don't like it, you're gonna have that problem. You're gonna try something that just doesn't work for you, and you're gonna want to pour it out because you're obviously not gonna want to drink something that you don't like. My tip to you is just to walk away from the vendor, go on a grass somewhere, and discreetly kind of just dump it on the ground. Not on a sidewalk, not on a path where people can walk, but in a discreet area. It's just not for me. Go and wash it out. They'll have wash stations where you can just wash this out and go to the next vendor. So that's the most polite way to do if you don't like a beer. It's just discreetly dump it on the grass and move on. So number 19, again, one of the things I think are underrated, my underrated tip is be nice to the vendors. Most of the people there are from small companies. They've poured their hearts and their minds and their monies into making art, so to speak. You can call it that because they put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and the beer making process is quite complex, and people usually just put themselves into their product and put their name on it. So don't be a dick to beer vendors. They're there all day giving you their craft. You can be critical, you can give advice and things like that, but don't be a dick. Another thing, don't just indiscriminately go up to a vendor and ask for the highest ABV and not know what they sell. It's kind of rude. There are certain manners that you need to abide by at beer festivals. This is one of them. I normally don't care myself, but this is the one that's kind of like, you shouldn't do that. Know what they have. Know a bit about the brewery. Don't just say, just give me the strongest one you have, and I don't care. It's kind of a dick move. Just be polite to the vendors. They're there to give you what they create. It's kind of like making fun of an artist, like right in front of their face. So yeah, just be nice to the beer vendors. And last, number 20, it's okay to stop drinking. If you feel funny, if you feel sick, and it's like halfway through the festival, I know everybody there wants to get their money's worth and drink as much as possible and consume as much as possible. However, it's okay to just stop drinking. Number 20, really good advice. It's just, you don't have to continue if you don't want to. You can just go there and ask questions. I see a lot of people doing that. So number 20, just stop drinking if you feel like you're getting sick. Pretty practical. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my my top 20 tips to surviving your first beer festival. Hope you guys liked it. That's it for now. I mean, I think I'm gonna do maybe another challenge video. I haven't done one in a while, so I had some things hang up my time, so I wasn't able to make more videos. But now that that's over with, I'm gonna be on a little bit more frequently, so that's good. And so that's it for now. I'll see you guys next time.